Hello Isopod fans, this is Wally Kern with Supreme Gecko. Let me ask you, what's your first impression with isopods? Is it that they're slow, they hide under something all the time, they're gray, they really don't have a whole lot of color? Well, if this is your impression, I'm going to introduce you to an isopod today that's going to change your mind. And the best part is that it's extremely affordable right now. So stay tuned and let's see which isopod this is.
The Isopod Vlog.
Let me go ahead and show you an isopod that we work with that is the typical idea of what an isopod is to most people. This is Porcellio spatulatus. Let me go ahead and open this up and let's see if we can find the isopods. So here's the typical isopod bin. Not a whole lot of activity. You don't see the isopods running around anywhere. Let me flip over a couple of these pieces of wood. And you can see one right there. Gray, kind of slow moving, well, fast getting away from us with the camera. But typically a slow isopod. Here's one right here. Not a whole lot going on right here. I went ahead and flipped over the other piece of wood, and here you can see the group. A little bit of movement, one settling back in there. Not a whole lot going on right here. So let's go ahead and take a look at another isopod that's completely different. As I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of these isopods are gray. They don't move around a lot. They hide all the time. Let's take a look at this one. And you can see a few out here. They're moving around. They're just very, very active. They're gray, but they have the nice yellow dots on the body. And this is one of my 3 bins. I keep 3 bins just to keep these isopods in a different environment. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few more of these. You can see this group is doing very well, although it doesn't have a whole lot of adults. Lots of babies coming up. This is the number 2 culture. And again, this one doesn't have a lot of the isopods in it. Again, I have it separated just to try something different. I wanted one with just a few adults to see what they would do, and it looks like they're really taking off here. Just a quick comment about the enclosure. You can see some leaves, some dry area here, and you can also see the moist. I'd like to have a little bit more sphagnum moss in here, but it seems like a good environment for these isopods. Here's the 3rd setup that I have, and we're going to go ahead and open this one up, and you'll see exactly what I mean by the activity of these animals. And when I open it up here, they're a little bit shy. I'm going to go ahead and feed, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more activity. I just put in a little flake food. We feed these animals flake food once in a while. We'll feed them the crested gecko diet, dried crested gecko diet. We feed mushrooms. I know the key spot where they stay, though, so let's go ahead and take a look under this shell. And you can just see the numbers in here. So this is a little bit of a bigger colony with the adults. I've let this grow out a little bit. Plenty of adults. I'm going to jump over to the food and just give you a look of what's going on with the food here. Got the leaves hiding everything. So as these isopods get more and more active, you can see them kind of jumping around a little bit here. As they get more and more active, once you start feeding, they gravitate to that food. You can see a few little babies in here. So at this point, you're asking, what is this isopod? Well, this is Porcellio ornatus, yellow dot. Let's see what happens if we throw a bunch of food in this coconut half. See what they do here. You can see them taking to the food very readily. Right now they're set up in this little 6-quart container. I have some pretty good ventilation in here. But what I'd like to do is move these certainly to a bigger enclosure, probably about a 27-quart so that it gives them a little bit more room to move around. We can see this group over here really taking to these mushrooms. I had mentioned earlier that this is a very affordable isopod. You can usually find these in the hobby for about $2 to $3 a piece. So again, if I were to suggest just one isopod to start keeping right from the beginning, I think it would be this one, Porcellio ornatus, yellow spot. They're very active. They're always out. They have a little bit of color. And certainly they're a very, very affordable little isopod. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.